Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I hope you're taking a moment to read what's going on in the chat because you will be requested to sing that song later in this conversation. So please do some vocal warm-ups. No, I'm just kidding. You wouldn't want to hear me sing that song, but this is very fun, and I'm just so grateful that everyone is here joining us. We are so excited about launching our Becoming a Man and Working on Womanhood programs in Kansas City. This is a dream come true for us, and there have been so many champions of the youth of Kansas City who stepped up and said, we must figure out a way to bring these resources and these programs to our youth. And we're just grateful and honored to be a part of that journey. And this honestly is just the very beginning baby step of that journey publicly, but behind the scenes, there's been so much incredible collaboration and support to get us to this point. And I want to just take a moment to thank, first of all, the Youth Guidance Board members who are with us this morning, who again, couldn't be more proud and excited that youth in Kansas City will be one day wearing proudly their Becoming a Man and Working on Womanhood shirts, stepping up to the plate, representing youth basically all over this country so well. So with that, I just want to start with a few acknowledgements. One, just reiterate why we're here today. We have found an incredible visionary leader to serve as the executive director for Youth Guidance's Becoming a Man and Working on Womanhood programs. He will oversee, again, these baby steps, toddler, adolescence, and then adulthood for the programs in Kansas City. And we found someone who we think has this kind of special mix of kind of personal passion and professional expertise to lead what truly must be a collaborative effort. And you'll get to meet him shortly. And before that, I just want to express again my sincere gratitude to the city of Kansas City, all the team, the members of the mayor's team, and Mayor Lucas. Thank you for being on this call today. Thank you for stepping up early and for saying, I'm going to be a fierce champion. And this is what our youth need. So thank you, Mayor Lucas, and to the city of Kansas City, and your leadership team have been fantastic to work with. And Superintendent Obeng, you're on the call. I saw you first on. It's such a sign of great leadership. You were the first one on, and I feel like you're going to walk alongside us all the way. The superintendent of Hickman Mills, who said, this is what our schools need. This is what they deserve. And your willingness to be an open-hearted partner with us on this journey. So thank you for being here. And I also want to acknowledge a fierce champion at the Greenlight Fund, Kansas City. The Greenlight Fund, they're risk takers, but they like to be part of winning teams. And I think they've scoured this country, figuring out creative ways to bring resources to those who need them. And we are so grateful to the Greenlight Fund of Kansas City, who said, we want to go all in for BAM and WOW. And again, have been thought partners, strategic partners with us. And who we know will rely on in partnership throughout this process. And then also the Charles and Lynn Schusterman Family Foundation. Again, folks who they're innovative, they believe in data, they believe in impact, and we are so grateful that they believe in us. And also the Argosy Foundation. This process takes rallying supports from all shapes and sizes, and we are so excited that they are early adopters of this vision for Kansas City. So thank you. And then with that, I just want to introduce the woman who behind the scenes probably has been the most persistent, tenacious, dynamic partner we could have, and that's Sarah Harbinger, of the Executive Director of Greenlight Fund, Kansas City. Sarah, take it away.
Good morning. I'm so thrilled to see all of you this morning and to see a lot of faces that I recognize. And for those of you that I don't know, my name is Sarah Haberberger, and I am the Executive Director of Greenlight Kansas City. And this is such an exciting day for us. We started talking with Youth Guidance, I think, 1.5 years ago. And so to go from those first initial conversations 1.5 years to now having this amazing director, and to be on the precipice of providing these supports and resources to our young people in Kansas City who so deserved this type of investment is really one of really the biggest honors of my career, and just so thrilled to be here. So for those of you, excuse me, who aren't familiar with Greenlight, I'm going to give you a 30-second spiel on what we do, and then want to talk more about how we'll be supporting BAM and WOW and Garrett as we get up and running in Kansas City. So Greenlight's work is really about partnering with communities to remove barriers to economic prosperity. And we do that by going through an annual process where we work with community leaders to identify gaps for our residents and neighbors in Kansas City, and then figure out how to fill those gaps with programs from across the country that are evidence-based, that have a real potential for sustainability in Kansas City, and really most importantly, that our community wants, so that we're drawing programs that work into Kansas City, we're pulling them in rather than having programs push their way in. So we do that on an annual basis. And once we make a selection, we invest not only our dollars, which are important, but also our thought partnership, our support, coaching, friendship, really whatever it takes for a program to be successful. We are going to be there behind them, supporting them all the way. And that's really what we've seen, having done these types of investments 30 plus times across the country in our 9 Greenlight sites. Is that's what it takes for new programs in a city to be successful, is just an army of folks who are cheering the program on and doing whatever it takes for it to be successful. And so that's really going to be our ongoing role in our work with both BAM and WOW and with Garrett, is to support this work in whatever way makes sense. We've help broker introductions, make introductions to potential funders. We've brought them in here to do sample programming, really just trying to get as many people familiar with the program and excited about the program as we are. And I really can't tell you how excited I am about this program. When we made the decision a year ago, we had no idea, knowing then that there was such an intense need for this specific type of clinical mental health and social emotional support for youth. A year ago, we had no idea what this year was going to bring. And knowing that in just a few short months, students in the Hickman Middle School District are going to be having these counselors cheering them on and supporting them during what is likely one of the most challenging years of their life, is really, really, really gratifying. And it also motivates us to do more. We are so excited to be partnering with Hickman Middle School District, but we are equally excited about what opportunities lie in expanding to other school districts. As one of the areas of support that we provided in this process was participating in the executive director search. And while there were many candidates that were amazing, I think the best way to quantify the excitement around Garrett's taking this role is just the sheer volume of texts and emails I received saying, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe you got Garrett. Like, we're so excited that Garrett's doing this. This is, I mean, seriously, I worked in HR for 5 years. I've never gotten this kind of reaction to a hire before." So that alone speaks so highly to his reputation in the community and his leadership. And really, I think the thing that sets him apart is the vision he has for BAM and WOW in Kansas City. And I know that while we are starting with Hickman Middle School District, that in over the coming years, we're going to make sure that lots and lots of other students have access to these same resources that they so deserve and that we want to invest in them. And then finally, I just want to say how thrilled we are to be partnering with Hickman Mills in our first year. You know, we talk to a lot of school districts, and we're blessed to have so many wonderful educational leaders in our community, but Hickman Mills really stood apart to us from the beginning in terms of alignment around the need for this type of support for their students, but also their partnership. Really just have done everything that they could on their end to make sure that this is a successful partnership. And I know that Superintendent Obeng is newer, although new, I think in 2020, months, like you've actually been here several years at this point. because we're definitely on a different time frame this year, but immediately jumped in and was so supportive, and really, I just don't think that we could have asked for a better first partner in Kansas City, and are just so excited about what the opportunities are for students in Kansas City and students in Hickman Mills this first year. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Superintendent Obeng and let him talk a little bit about that partnership.
You think I know how to do this mute thing on Zoom by now. I figured it out. Hey, thank you for those kind words. That was amazing, Sarah. And yes, I'm brand new out of the box, ready to go. And looking forward to this exciting opportunity. I wanted to, Michelle, ain't no stopping us now. Wow. I love that. I wish I would have, hey, I was waiting for you to sing a few bars of that. All right, I like that. I'll remember that. So, that's good. That's inspirational. It brings me back. So I do want to thank both Michelle Morrison, the senior, and Sarah, of course. Your leadership, Greenlight Foundation, and Youth Guidance have been tremendous supporters. I'm just so thrilled and excited that we have this great opportunity here at Hickman. And as I was coming through to Kansas City doing an analysis of district, that was one of the gaps around needs for our students. And I was figuring out, how are we going to do this? And then it just presented itself. So I was like, wow, this is amazing. Let's move forward and join these partners and have an exciting time. And I'm so appreciative and honored that we are the first district to lead this work. And so we take that with great responsibility in terms of we want to see this spread and shift throughout Kansas City and maybe even beyond in terms of that. So we'll look forward to that. But I do want to take the opportunity before I share a quick update around the program to thank our leaders. Sarah, you mentioned some of our staff who've been amazing in terms of working and getting things up to speed. And I can't believe we're going to be starting in a few months. I thought, okay, we're in COVID, and as you said, COVID years is like 10 years in a regular year, right? So, but we're still getting it done during this time period. But I do want to reach out and thank Dr. Skinner, Danica Singleton, who's been amazing doing some work, and of course our principal leaders of the two schools, Principal Allen at Ruskin, Principal Jordan at Smith Hill. They've been amazing and collaborative and welcoming in terms of doing whatever we need to do in order to get this program up and running. So I'll give you a quick synopsis. Our team have been sort of brainstorming and figure out how do we do this even during this year, get it started, and how do we work on it going forward. And one of the key pieces is around our students, identifying the students. And we know that in order to secure our future, one of the most critical things we can do is invest in our youth. And I think that's what our partners are coming together to do. And so we're doing that in terms of looking at identifying the appropriate students to help us get this started and set up all the parameters so it can be a smooth transition. We've had great support from community members. So I'm glad that people in the community are aware of what's happening and can be engaged and support our district and this initiative in terms of moving forward. And I also want to say that I'm excited to be receiving Garrett Webster, Kansas City. So congratulations, Garrett. Looking forward to continue to work with you and collaborate with you, and excited about this partnership. So I'll stop there, and I think I'm going to pass it on to Garrett to do his remarks.
All right. Well, thank you, Principal Obeng. I greatly appreciate your remarks, and thank you so much. Welcome, 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 welcome. Man, this is a little overwhelming. I'm really excited just to see. It's kind of like the gang's all back together again. So I'm so glad to see everybody come out early this morning. So thank you so much. It's an exciting day in Kansas City. Good morning. Thanks for being here. I'm Garrett Webster Sr., and it is my honor to serve as the Executive Director of Youth Guidance, Kansas City. I want to first just start by acknowledging, our partners who are responsible for bringing Becoming a Man and Working on Womanhood programs, also known as BAM and WOW, to Kansas City. First, thank you to the Greenlight Fund. Special thank you to Mayor Lucas and his team. And of course, we're awfully grateful to Superintendent Obeng and the Hickman Mills C1 School Board and all of their staff who have helped us implement this project and been just on board from the beginning. With our dedicated, amazing partners, this work would not be possible. But last but not least, I want to thank our CEO, Michelle Morrison, and the entire Youth Guidance team who have welcomed me into the YG family with open arms. So thank you so much for the warm welcome. I got to give a quick shout out to just everybody that's on this call today, especially my Young Achievers family that came out to support, and all the partners throughout the years that we've been able to partner with and collaborate. Thank you so much for being here. It means so much for me to see you all here. So thank you. For those of you that don't know me, in case you haven't figured it out, I'm excited and I'm passionate about helping our families in Kansas City. Like many of our youth, I'm no stranger to traumatic experiences. At the age of 11, my father sat me down on the couch and told me that he and my mom were getting a divorce. My younger sister and I, we decided that we wanted to live with my mom. And so we moved from Connecticut to my mom's hometown in Osceola, Arkansas. My mom, she remarried, and 30 years ago, my family moved to Kansas City, Missouri. My mom was a social worker. She worked with youth who were suspected of child abuse and neglect. She also worked with women who had suffered from abuse in Kansas City's Rosebrook Center. My mom's new husband was a nice man. There was just one small problem. He was an alcoholic. I'll admit that there were days that were a little scary. Some nights I slept with a metal pipe under my pillow while my sister slept with a butcher knife under hers. There were two kids ready to fight and if need be, kill for our mom. My junior year, our family moved into an Alcoholics Anonymous shelter right off of 30th and Benton. That's right. We were homeless. From the time I was in the 7th grade to the 12th grade, our family had moved 7 times and I had changed schools 4 times. This crazy thing, you would have never known the trauma that was going through. Some people's trauma explodes out and shows up as violence, drug abuse, or disengagement from school. Other youths like myself implode. I stuffed all my feelings down inside. School and the Bluford Library on 31st and Prospect were my escape from the madness. I had to prove that I wasn't fazed by any of the craziness in my life, so I made good grades, didn't cause any trouble, played varsity sports, was on the National Honor Society, and who's who among American high school students. I graduated from Kansas City's first historically Black school, Lincoln College Preparatory Academy, with dreams of going to a historically Black college, only to find out that I didn't have enough funds to attend Hampton University. So plan B, I enlisted in the U.S. Army, only to be denied because I didn't pass the physical. On to plan C. I reached out to a counselor at Penn Valley. His name was Mr. Herman Davis, and he helped me get a job at UMB Bank. So there I was with a little scholarship money, good grades, no prospects of going to college. With the encouragement of my mom, a scholarship my principal, Ms. Barbara Lusk, made me apply for, and the help from Mr. Herman Davis, the counselor at Penn Valley College, I went on to college and received my degree in business. Mr. Davis, a counselor at Penn Valley, was a difference maker in my life. He made such an impact on my life, helping me get a job, encouraging me through college, and then standing as my best man in my wedding. I spoke to Mr. Davis last week, and at the age of 41, he still remains one of my mentors. And can you believe, even during COVID, he's still trying to get out here and help students to tutor them, even with everything that's going on. That's a dedicated educator. For the last 15 years, I've served in Kansas City's youth, from being a tutor, I've been a substitute teacher, a high school, college, and career advisor, and college admissions. In 2013, I accepted a wonderful opportunity to serve 7th through 12th graders from 56 schools across 6 metro counties as the Young Achievers Director for the YMCA of Greater Kansas City. While at the YMCA, I served as a commissioner for Kansas City Mayor's Youth Commission. My recent service allowed me to serve as a director of admissions for the school district I graduated from and where my family and I have lived for the past 20 years, Kansas City Public Schools. Everywhere I've served youth, I was always trying to help the teenage me. I'm excited about this stage of my journey that provides me with an opportunity to continue serving Kansas City. When I first heard about BAM and WOW, I thought, who is this youth program trying to come into our city. We have plenty of awesome youth programs here already. After doing some research on BAM and WOW, I found out they were not your average youth mentoring program. I quickly realized that our Kansas City youth could benefit from this program. As a parent of a 7th and a 5th grader, I'm excited to learn just how BAM and WOW can help me be a better parent as well. I wish we had a program like this when I was in school. Through BAM and WOW, we meet young people where they are, providing school-based group counseling and mentoring to improve the social, emotional, and behavioral competencies of students in grades 7 through 12 who've been exposed to traumatic stressors and face social, behavioral, cognitive, or emotional challenges. We place full-time BAM and WOW counselors in schools who facilitate highly engaging and clinically based sessions with students. These sessions provide a safe space within schools that foster strong relationships and positive identity development. These sessions are curriculum-based and guide students as they learn, internalize, and practice social emotional skills that correlate to long-term and personal academic success. Beyond group sessions, BAM and WOW counselors work in partnership with school administrators and staff to build school climate that promote holistic student development and success. Students also have access to their counselor throughout the day for individual support. BAM and WOW's program goals are to, number one, improve social, emotional, and psychological well-being. 2, strengthen school engagement and academic attainment. And 3, increase utilization of safe and healthy behaviors. BAM and WOW have been the subject of multiple external evaluations which show that the programs work. The University of Chicago Crime Lab did a study that found BAM participants, they decreased 50% in arrests for violent crime, 25% were more engaged in school, and 19% increase in their graduation rate. The study also found that for every dollar invested in BAM, there was a $30 return on that investment. This is incredible. As an external evaluation of the WOW program, it found that the young ladies experienced a 57% decrease in symptoms of depression and a 24% reduction in clinical symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder that are known as PTSD. BAM and WOW's footprint is expanding. BAM and WOW currently reach over 10,000 students annually. BAM is operating in 4 other cities nationally, including Chicago, Illinois, Boston, Massachusetts, King County, Washington, and Los Angeles, California. For WOW, Kansas City represents the program's first expansion beyond Chicago, and we're excited to partner with the Greenlight Fund and Hickman Mills C1 Schools and the Kansas City community as we celebrate this momentous milestone. This year, we're excited to launch BAM in partnership with Hickman Mills C1 Schools BAM and WOW, a partnership with Hickman C1 Schools beginning in January 2021. The team of BAM and WOW counselors will begin working at Ruskin High School and Smith Hill Middle School. I want to give a special thank you to Principal Allen and Principal Jordan for extending such a warm welcome to our youth guidance team. We're delighted to launch BAM and WOW in partnership with Hickman Mills, given the district's commitment to racial equity, strong community partnerships, and student access. Amidst increased feelings of anxiety, fear, and isolation associated with COVID-19 and frustration, anger, and weariness surrounding the ongoing fight for racial justice and equality, we believe that now is important as ever for programs like BAM and WOW to be able to provide students with a meaningful space for connection, healing, and growth. Over the next 5 years, with your help, Youth Guidance's vision is to expand the impact of BAM and WOW across multiple metro districts and to serve over 800 youth. You may be wondering now, how can I be a part of this amazing movement? Well, we can't do this work alone. We're going to need your help and partnership and collaboration in Kansas City. Here's just a few ways that you can come alongside this movement. Youth Guidance KC is looking to align with other youth-serving organizations, like many that are here today, and coalitions for partnership and coordination. We're seeking financial support of the BAM and WOW work in Kansas City. So if you so desire, you may support financially. Greenlight has graciously provided a seed investment for this movement. and we're seeking additional investors to come alongside their work, raising an additional $450,000 for year 2. Lastly, we're looking for community leaders to serve on our local advisory council to provide strategic counsel to youth guidance leadership and help increase visibility, resources, and to sustain the programs of work in Kansas City. Youth development is not just hard work, it's hard work. It takes a special person to do this work. We reach into young people to unlock their full potential. We're looking forward to the wonderful journey here in Kansas City and welcome you along for the ride. I know there are many of you that may have some additional questions or want to see how you can help. Please know that I'll make myself available for any follow-up conversations and to learn how we can share and how we can collaborate. So at this time, we're going to open it up and answer any questions that you all might have.
Thank you, Garrett, for sharing your story. And yeah, for those that have questions or want to just provide some words of welcome to Garrett, feel free to unmute yourselves. You can also ask questions in the chat if you're more comfortable, and we will direct those to Garrett as well.
This is John Sharp. Could I ask a question now?
Yes.
Absolutely, John. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, sir. Will there just be one counselor for each of these programs at Smith Hale and at Ruskin? I'm probably not saying that well. It's my understanding there'll be a BAM counselor and a WOW counselor at both at Smith Hale and a BAM counselor and a WOW counselor at Ruskin. Is that correct?
Well, Councilman Sharp, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. Appreciate all your dedication to the Hickman Mills area. Actually, we're going to have 2 counselors, 2 BAM counselors and 2 WOW counselors. And so, yes, you're correct. We're going to have a BAM counselor at Ruskin and a WOW counselor at Ruskin, and then we'll have a BAM counselor and a WOW counselor at Smith Hill. That's correct.
Oh, great. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thanks for being on today.
Yes, sir.
Hey, good morning. This is Jalila Otto. I just wanted to say congratulations, Garrett. Also, to let you know that, as you know, I am the family court judge for the juvenile division for all of Jackson County. I have that position for the year of 2020 and 2021. And I would love to meet with you and see how we can continue to serve the families in Jackson County. I've become acutely aware of some gaps in the lives of many of the children that we have. And so I would love to sit down and talk with you more after the dust settles and you get settled in your position. But any assistance the family court could give, we would love to be able to support you guys and maybe have a partnership going forward.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Judge Otto. We greatly appreciate you, greatly appreciate all the work and the service that you provided to Kansas City throughout the years, from the prosecutor's office all the way to your judgeship. And so we just appreciate everything that you've done. And I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you for being a proud Lincoln grad. And so thank you. And I look forward to connecting with you. Thanks for being on this morning.
And we have a question coming into the chat from Jasmine Allen. As a current student at Missouri State University, majoring in marketing, how can she get further involved with the work that BAM and WOW are doing in Kansas City?
All right. Hi, Jasmine. Good to see you. Wow. Congratulations. Continue the great hard work at Missouri State. And so, you know what? We're going to be having some connections with our near peers for our students. And so there'll be some opportunities for, hey, there she is. We're going to have some opportunities for students that are on the collegiate level to connect with our students that are going to be on the middle and high school level. And so definitely let's stay connected, and we'll be talking about some opportunities to do that. Once we get things up and running and rolling, there are some college tours that will be coming down the line as well. So we're looking forward to that. I know my achievers know all about the college tours and the excitement and the fun that we had on those. And so thank you for wanting to be involved and continue the great work that you're doing there in school. Looking forward to your graduation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Garrett, I wonder if either you or some of the other folks in youth guidance want to talk a little bit about what it means to do this work in a virtual space. You know, one of the things that we've been so impressed with in terms of youth guidance and BAM and WOW's work is the flexibility and the responsiveness that you all have had in the midst of the change in what school looks like. So just any thoughts there that you want to share, I think might be interesting for folks.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sarah. And what I would like to do at this time is invite our National Director of BAM, Mr. AJ Watson, and our co-founder of WOW and Director, Ms. Gail Day, into the conversation to really talk about the great work that's being done around the country in the different cities virtually during this pandemic.
Yeah, it's good morning. Thank you, everyone, for coming out to welcome Garrett. He is an exceptional choice to lead our programs in Kansas City. Yes, the virtual world is a lot different than meeting person to person, but it has been done successfully in both programs. I'll speak to some of the things that WOW are doing, and pretty much the same thing that BAM is doing also. But what we've done is we've been able to use a platform that the CPS schools have provided for us to go in to virtual classrooms to do group work and to have drop-ins with our students. We've been doing, hello, okay. We've been, they have been working really diligently for outreach through phone calls, through emails. They've created Bitmojis, online Bitmojis for students to see what activities that are going on. They've also have been reaching out to parents. You know, parents are always important, but they're really important during this time, and being able to connect with them to make sure that we can get consent forms in, so we get the program going. To keep the students engaged, we've had spoken word contest. We've had dance parties. They have reached all levels of virtual engagement and continue to process and find more virtual activities to do. When it comes to our curriculum, we've adjusted the curriculum so that it's more virtual than in person. But the key thing is we continue to maintain those relationships. It's been hard for our kids. It's been hard for the nation. So what they have really been doing is reaching out, sending affirmation cards, sending affirmation Bitmojis. They've been sending them care packages. Just a simple call, just a simple text, how are you doing, has been so powerful for our kids and for the families too. AJ, if you want to jump in and add anything else.
Yeah, I think, Gil, thank you for that. So, you know, what I would say from the BAM perspective is a lot of echoing what Gail has already laid out. But I think it's just been a dynamic opportunity, right? You know, I always like to, when we're on a virtual call, I always like to ask folks, how are you feeling this morning, right? Do you feel some connection, right? Are you feeling like this is something that, you know, many of us have had to transition, you know, a lot, if not all of our work into a virtual space. And if we're intentional, right, doing check-ins, using the chat, right, our training teams have come together and really taken the heart and the core of our curriculums and pivoted them into a way that's going to work better virtually. Because as I say, it's hard to do the human knot, right, on Zoom. But you can maybe do the house scavenger hunt, right, or the relay competition that's more done in a digital fashion. So certainly those are aspects of how we're implementing the program that are pivoting well to virtual. But I think the other piece is, you know, you see Principal Allen and Principal Jordan on the call today, along with Danica from Hickman Mills and Superintendent Obang. Like, a lot of our work really comes down to our partnership with our schools, right? Our school leaders and our teachers, and how we work with them. So wherever they've got access points and touch points, the good news is, we're able to come along, in a lot more dynamic ways along whatever's happening in the school, right? We're able to think about our programming operating kind of outside of the confines that have to be, a traditional school day. I don't know about you, but 2 o'clock in the afternoon, my Zoom fatigue hits, it hits a cap. And so it's about when is the right time to really, have these sessions with our young people that works for them and their schedule. So there's certainly ways that it's working. We're continuing to learn, evolve, and share knowledge right across programs and geographies. And so look forward to learning what are the best ways to really engage the youth of Kansas City to make sure the programs are really having the desired impact during this school year. And of course, preparing for a day when we're all able to come back together in person and really bring the real richness and dynamism to the group.
And I just want to add one more thing too, is when we talk about that BAM circle and that WOW circle, we know how powerful it is in person, but it's equally impactful even in the virtual world. Somebody once told me, you can't get feelings through a screen, but yes, you can. So as we move into our schools in Kansas City, we will, our youth will be able to experience that, building that relationship, and being able to, all of us being able to process and move this COVID situation till we can pinch cheeks again.
Thank you, AJ and Gail. And as I just mentioned in the chat, we have about 5 minutes left in today's scheduled time. So if you have any burning questions or remarks you'd like to share, feel free to share them. And if not today, we look forward to continuing the conversation.
I was just hoping, AJ, you could share just quickly, somebody had chatted about what the core values are. What does BAM and WOW cover? What are the core values?
WOW's core values are self-awareness, because we feel that's the foundation of building ourselves up. It's self-awareness, it's emotional intelligence, it's positive relationships, it's leadership and visionary goal setting.
And for BAM, our core values are integrity, accountability, self-determination, positive anger expression, respect for womanhood, and visionary goal setting. So, really universal concepts that we think really resonate certainly with youth at this point. But I think also just ones that are going to help young people navigate certainly where they're at right now, but also will serve them well in their life, in their journey. And one of the things also just for folks is we're still in the process of hiring staff. And so we would just talk for a minute about the profiles, right, of BAM and WOW counselors. So, first and foremost, these ideally folks are from Kansas City, right? These are folks who have the lived experience, similar to what Garrett talked about in terms of how he's grown up and the neighborhoods he's grown up in. That's really what we're looking for in terms of our staff. Ideally men and women, right, of color, right, that really represent the student populations that we're trying to serve at Hickman Mills. But then also it really is about kind of bringing a triumvirate of experiences. So, this is not just, mentoring on its own. It's also, we often call them like clinical mentors. So these are ideally young men and young women, or not so young women, but still have the youth at heart, right? That are that have a background in social work, psychology, counseling. But also at the end of the day, I think like what also Garrett shared on the call today, it's being willing to be vulnerable, right? And talk about their own experiences in a really authentic way, in a way that's gonna both model and also connect with the youth that we're trying to serve. And Gail, maybe just talk about a little bit of the differences in terms of the WOW counselor profile.
For the WOW counselors, our WOW counselors have master's level degrees. They're licensed in, as AJ said, psychology, social work. They come with a high level of youth engagement. They come with a great experience in group dynamics, because this is a group model, and a lot in experience. They, some of them right out of grad school. which, you know, is a great stepping stone for our young people, our young adults who want to go out into the world and help youth.
Other questions, comments?
Laura Carson?
I just want to thank everyone. I'm seeing a lot of like offers for support and stepping up and, you know, engagement with the Black social workers chapter of Kansas City. This is exactly the kind of teamwork we're looking for. This is what's going to make both programs flourish. To us, we see this as a starting point. We know there are so many more youth beyond the schools we're initially starting with who will benefit. And we just are so grateful for you for, again, volunteering your resources, your talent, your expertise, your relationships, just even in this conversation. So thank you all so much.